Hello everyone and welcome to the Frontend Crash Course. In the last video, we've completed the login form with the login button. However, this button isn't doing anything yet. So today, let's learn how to handle the click event and send a request to the Backend API. In the login user component, I'm gonna declare a handle login function. For now, let's just print out a log to the console saying login button clicked. Then, in the template section, let's add a click event to the button component and register the handle login function as its handler. This basically means, hey, please call this function when the user clicks the button. Okay, let's give it a try on the browser. I'm gonna enter the username and password, then click login. Now, in order to see the log, we must open the console. If you use Google Chrome, it's under the View menu, Developer, JavaScript console. Et voila, the login button clicked message is here. Every time the button is clicked, the message will be printed out. Next step, we will replace the console.log statement with a real Backend API call. As I said at the beginning of the course, the front-end code is put inside the same repository of the backend course. The Backend API was developed using Golang gRPC framework with gRPC gateway to translate HTTP codes to gRPC. And the API we're gonna call is post v1/login user. We also have the postman collection with the login user HTTP request. To start the backend server, you can clone the GitHub repo and follow the instructions in the README file. You can use Docker Compose to run everything from DB, Redis, gRPC, and HTTP server. Or you can run DB and Redis separately first, and start the backend server with the make server command as I'm doing here. The HTTP gateway server is running on port 8080, so that's why in Postman, the root URL of the server is set to localhost 8080. I've already created a user TechSchool with password secret, so if I send this request to the server, it will be successful. And we'll get back some information about the user and the session. The most important one is the access token and refresh token. These tokens should be stored somewhere on the front end to authenticate future requests. Alright, now let's get back to the Vue.js code and code the login API. We're gonna use a package called Axios. It is a promise-based HTTP client, which will help us send HTTP requests easily. I'm gonna run this npm command to install the package. Now Axios is added to the dependencies list of the package.json file. In the handle login function of the login user component, let's write Axios. Notice how the package is automatically imported. We're gonna send a post request, so axios.post. The first argument we must pass in this function is the URL of the API we want to call, which is http localhost 8080/v1/login user, just like what we have in Postman. Then the second argument should be an object storing the JSON body that should be sent to the server. In this case, it must contain the username and the password. Their values come from the corresponding variables we declared above. Note that this function call is asynchronous, which means it will return a promise. In order to get the response from the server, we have to use the await keyword to wait for it to complete. And since await can only be used within an async function, we must add the async keyword to the top of this arrow function. Now let's give it a try on the browser. I'm gonna enter the username and password of TechSchool and press login. Then let's check the JavaScript console to see what happened. Oops, looks like we've got some errors. It says the request has been blocked by course policy. To see more details, we can open the network tab and click login one more time. Okay, so this time we see not one but two requests. The first one got a course error. This is a request that we sent in our login user component. The second one is a preflight request that got a 501 error. What is this preflight request? Well, it is a request sent automatically by the browser. The purpose of it is to perform a pre-check to see whether the main request will be accepted by the server or not. The URL of the preflight request will be the same as the main one, but the request method is different, which is always options. You can imagine as if the browser is telling the server, hey, I'm going to send a request to this URL from this domain with this method and these headers, etc. Can that request be accepted by the server? If the browser gets back an error status code from the server, which is 501 in this case, it won't send the main request. That's why if we look at the logs of the server, we'll see that it only received the preflight request with method options and not the main request with method post. This is a cross-origin resource sharing or CORS protection mechanism that the browser enforced to prevent cross-site request forgery or CSRF attacks. We'll learn more about this topic in the next lecture, where we will modify the code on the backend side to allow preflight requests to pass through. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Happy learning and see you in the next one.